Got a letter from a man in deep. Said his house ain't a home and he's losing sleep. Wife cold as steel, vibe off track. Asked me how the hell to get his edge back.
What's going on, guys? We are live again today. I am back from WrestleMania. I'm wearing my Brock Lesnar t-shirt that I've had for a long time in honor of the Beast Incarnate retiring while Nurse Chick and I were there on Saturday. That was it Saturday? No, it was yesterday. Yeah, Sunday rather. God, time flies when you're traveling or whatever. So yeah, yesterday we drove back. Sunday they kicked off the show with the Beast and he retired. That was a big shock to everybody in the arena there. So anyway, it was pretty cool. Like I was like, we were there to Nurse Chick. I was like, we were there. Oh my God. Well, we were in Vegas. Side note, we'll get to the topic today, guys. While we were in Vegas, Nurse Chick and I were killing some time down at Caesar's Palace, and Nurse Chick and I, we had been walking around for hours, like our feet hurt, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit down over here, and we sat down by some slot machines, and she goes, I'm gonna put $10 in, and so she puts $10 in, ends up winning $570. We had no idea what was going on. There was like some kind of Yeti, and like she would hit roll, and it would diamonds would come up, and it would go, oh, look at this, you got diamonds, and we're like, great, what does that mean? And then it would come up with a bunch of stuff, and we had no idea what was happening in the game. And then at the end, it said you have like 5,000 credits, and we're like, what is that? Is that dollars? Like, what does that mean? And so there was a cash out option, so she hit cash out. Ended up winning $570. It was pretty cool. Anyway, let's get to the topic today. We actually have a pretty good sponsored video for you guys today. My man wrote in. He says, "Hey, I just want to say I've been listening for a few months now, and the stuff you talk about has already changed how I look at a lot of things. So I figured I'd sponsor an episode to get your take on something that's been sitting in the back of my mind. My girlfriend and I just hit our 1-year anniversary today. Congratulations. Plus a few months before we made it official. We're planning a trip from out of state to go to a wedding, and we're thinking about adding a stop in Boston. She's got a friend group there she stays connected with. Here's where it gets a little weird for me. When we were looking at the flights yesterday, she brought up that her ex is a part of that friend group in the city. She said it would be awkward to see everyone without him there. So basically, if we go, he'd probably be in the mix. She mentioned he's in a serious relationship now, like that's supposed to make me feel better about it. Here's the thing with a lot of women, man. Like women who stay in contact with their exes socially, that's always a major red flag, brother. That's always a major red flag, no matter how she's going to spin it, no matter how she gaslights you. Okay. Here's the thing. There's some nuance to some of this stuff. Like if you're, a guy in your 40s and your 50s, like chances are if you're out dating or you're just getting into a new relationship with a new chick, everyone that's, over 35 has probably been married at one point. And now if they're back out dating, it's because of is post-divorce. If that's the case, usually their ex is somewhere in the picture, especially if there's kids around, right? But it's not like a social thing where they reach out to them and they stay in contact with them. Like it's business, you know what I mean? Like, so like Nurse Chick, for instance, Nurse Chick, she's got an ex-husband. They have to stay in contact for the kids, but that's all it is, right? Like I've met Nurse Chick's ex-husband once. One time I met him because Nurse Chick and her youngest daughter were doing a 5K run that the elementary school was putting on. And so I went there with Nurse Chick and her daughter, and her daughter's father was there to support her, right? Like, so no big deal. Like that kind of circumstance, like I wouldn't worry about that kind of thing at all, right? But if they've never been married and she's got an ex-boyfriend that she sees regularly, and every time she comes to town, she sees that guy, that's a major red flag. That is a major red flag. You cannot change my mind about that. Okay. So this situation that my man's talking about here, it's not the same, right? It's not the same as like an ex-husband who's there and like you guys have to coordinate to co-parent. Like that's not the same thing. So when a woman stays friends with her ex, like 9 times out of 10, they're keeping that guy on the back burner as a plan B option. Okay. So like I personally, I wouldn't be okay with that. Not at all. Not at all. My man says, what I didn't know until yesterday is that they still talk. He didn't know. So they've been together for a whole year. She sort of kept this under wraps. And now all of a sudden, oh, by the way, I still talk to my ex. Like that needs to end. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Yeah, not constantly, once or twice a year. She said she's usually the one reaching out to her friend, so I'm assuming that includes him. When we were long distance, it never crossed my mind because she was all over me, and he was nowhere near our lives. But now there's a real chance we're actually going to be face to face. Like this is a good time to set boundaries. Like one of the things that like I talk about in Keep Your Bitch is setting the tone from the start. Like we're going through Keep Your Bitch as a part of a mini series on Mondays. And I think like we've already done the episode on setting the tone from the beginning. This is the perfect example of setting the tone from the beginning, to be like, no, we are not doing this. We are not doing this shit. Okay. So this is a good opportunity to set boundaries. And when you set boundaries, I also go into depth on that in here too. Like if you don't know how to do that right, you can't tell her, no, you can't see your friends. Okay. Cause that's controlling, but you can, however, absolutely tell her, we're not going to meet with your ex-boyfriend when we go on this trip. We're not like, I'm not funding a trip so you can hang out with your fucking ex-boyfriend. Okay. And like, don't say it like that, but you get my point. And you also tell her, I don't entertain relationships with women who stay in contact with their exes. Okay. That's how you say it. Cause it's about you and what you will tolerate. Like she can go do that if she wants, but if she chooses that, she's not going to be in your life anymore. You understand? Do you understand the difference of you can't do this versus like I don't date women who keep in contact with their exes. Do you understand the difference, guys? Okay. Let me know if you have a question of understanding the difference there. All right. My man says, I don't know if I'm overthinking this or if my gut is telling me something worth listening to. I probably won't have a meltdown over it, but I also can't tell if I'm being relaxed or just naive. Like, and here's the thing. Like women will gaslight you and tell you that you're just being insecure. You're just being insecure. Why? Because it benefits them to be able to entertain exes and have plan B options and have male orbiters. It doesn't benefit them for you to set a boundary that's going to keep the relationship healthy, right? Like it doesn't, like if they want to keep plan B options and stuff like that, that's why they'll gaslight you. Oh, you're just being insecure right now, right? It's funny in Corey Wayne's book, How to Be a 3% Man. Corey, God, I can't remember where it is exactly, but he talks about how when you end things, when you end a relationship, he's always friends with his exes and he likes to send them away with love. And so I think that's a terrible idea. I think that's a terrible idea for guys to do it. I think it's a terrible idea for women to do it, to stay friends with your exes. That's not going to do you any good. Okay. It doesn't, for men, especially, it does no good to stay in a woman's friend zone after a breakup and be her plan B option. That does you no good. Okay. And then if you're keeping women around as a plan B option for you, like, what are you doing? What are you even doing? Okay. Stop doing that kind of crap. Once it's over, move on, find new people. Okay. There's plenty of other people around. You don't have to stay in contact with these people. All right. It's one of the things that I fundamentally disagree with Corey on. I don't know. Okay, so I put here, women will gaslight you and tell you that you're just being insecure, but your gut is usually right about certain things, okay? This isn't just some rando at the office or some guy at the bar. She's literally fucked this guy before. Do you understand? Do you understand? There's an idea, I think like Royce talks about this. Like if you fucked a girl once, you can fuck her again. Okay? The same thing applies here. If she's fucked this guy once before, it just makes it infinitely easier for that to accidentally, one thing led to another bullshit to happen. Okay? It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Now, one thing I do agree with, I mentioned Corey Wayne. There's one thing that I agree with Corey on is that like when you're dating, when you're casually dating and you're spinning plates, it's not good to be jealous of random dudes out there, because what you'll realize is that once you learn this stuff, that there really isn't a whole lot of competition. There really isn't. So her and you got to understand that when you're out dating, she's probably dating other dudes too. Like women don't call it spinning plates. They just call it dating. Most men have sniper dating mentality. Women don't do that kind of crap. Okay. So when we talk about spinning plates, we're basically using women's dating strategy to our advantage, and a lot of red pill and pickup artistry like that. It's using women's strategies to male sensibilities, and so when you're out dating, don't worry about that kind of stuff. She's probably going to entertain other dudes, and she'll realize quickly that that all these other guys don't compare because you've learned game frame and all this kind of stuff. However, once you get into an LTR, that kind of shit needs to end. Okay. Once you've agreed to exclusivity, that shit needs to end. Okay. That shit needs to end. That's where boundaries come in. All right. One thing I have here is women often do mental gymnastics about exes. Like they'll sleep with exes because technically they don't increase body count. Like they'll do this kind of shit. You know how I know this? I have this acquaintance, this friend of mine who I used to run with all the time. She still cuts my son's hair. In fact, this is starting to get long back here. I'm gonna hit her up for a haircut here pretty soon. But she did this shit after she divorced her husband. She had an ex-boyfriend fly out here. In fact, she paid for him to come out here so that she could get some dick. She needed to. So I asked her, I was like, "So you air freight dick in? Is that what you do?" And she's like, "Well, it's not like that, but yeah, basically, And then she even said, "Well, it doesn't increase my body count." I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. I mean, technically she's not wrong, but this is the kind of shit that they do. Okay. So they keep in contact with their exes. And so when they're not in a relationship and they're not really dating or whatever, they still want some dick. They'll reach out to these guys and get dick down. You know what I mean? It's not healthy to be in an LTR with a chick that's entertaining these guys. And they'll cheat on you with an ex. They'll fucking cheat on you with an ex and tell themselves that it wasn't really cheating because they've had sex with you before and it's not really any different, right? Like I've had sex with him before, so how is it different? Because you're in a new relationship now, bitch. That's why, right? You know how I know that? Because I've told this story on the podcast before, but red pill chick came back around. She came sniffing back around like a little over a year after she and I broke up. And she and I ended up hooking up, but I am 99% certain that she was dating her new husband at the time. And she still fucked me, right? Chicks do this shit. Okay. So it's not a good idea. You want to set this boundary. And the fact that it's just now being brought up after a year goes hand in hand with the end of the honeymoon phase. Okay. The honeymoon phase usually lasts about 6 months to a year. And everyone's on their best behavior, right? Everyone's on their best behavior for the first 6 months to a year. And now that you guys have been together for a year, actually a little bit over because you guys weren't exclusive, you guys dated a little bit. Her true colors are starting to show. And now, oh, by the way, I've got this guy that I've been talking to this whole time. Do you see the red flags? It's fucking like sirens, right? Like, do you not see the shit? The problem with guys is we're so fucking idealistic that we overlook this shit, and we're so Twitter pated. We don't look at the stuff, and then we try to like talk ourselves out of it. Oh, maybe we are just being insecure, right? No. Okay. It's okay to have boundaries for shit like this. Okay. You guys ever read the Bible? Like there's this whole thing of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you would not do this to her, it's perfectly acceptable to expect her not to do this shit to you and to set that fucking boundary. Okay. You see? Okay. I'm not trying to get all religious and biblical here, but that is perfectly okay. All right. My man says, that's why I wanted to sponsor an episode on this. I don't know how seriously to take any of it, and I need someone to help me figure out what I'm actually looking at here. You know, like, here's the thing. Enforce the boundary. Okay. Enforce the boundary. It'll tell you everything you need to know about how she thinks about the relationship and what she truly values. Okay. Set the boundary. If she respects your boundary, awesome. That's a good sign. She respects you. She respects the relationship. She's like, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to fuck this up. Okay. But if she disregards it, dump that bitch right there. I don't care if you've been together for a year. If she is like, no, my friend, this is my friend circle. I'm not going to drop him. Okay. Like set the boundary exactly how I said it. Okay. I can't be in a relationship with a woman that still entertains past boyfriends. Okay. If I can't do it. And if she's like, well, then it's right? And she starts, hey, look, make your choice. Make your choice. And if she chooses that, be like, awesome. I'm going to go on this trip. It's been nice knowing you. Right. And don't buy her a fucking plane ticket. Okay. My question for you though, brother, is, like, have you like when you met her, did you create a contenders list? Like, are you familiar with the contenders list? You said you've been tuning into the podcast for a little while, but I don't know how long that's been. When you met her, if you didn't set a contenders list, if this goes south, if she chooses her friends group and her boyfriend over you, I invite you to read Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 and sit down and write a contenders list. Okay. And then I highly recommend that in the do not want section of your list, you put, she doesn't entertain exes. Okay. Like that's the kind of shit you need to put in your do not wants list. Okay. I don't want to date a girl who entertains exes. Okay. That's a perfectly good example of something to put in there. And then when you're dating these women, if you find that come up, that, okay, cool. Well, I now know that this is my, my absolute do not want, won't tolerate fucking highlight. You dump her right there. All right. Pretty straightforward email today, guys. Let me hit the chat up and then we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Eric Von Eric says, yes, here we go. And Brother Kamal. Ooh, Brother Kamal is a 3% brother and a Wolfpack brother. He says, I don't date girls who are still in contact with their ex. Is such a powerful boundary. And it's not unreasonable. It's not an unreasonable boundary, like that. But women will gaslight you into making you think that it is. It's a completely reasonable boundary for a healthy relationship. And little man, the OG says, nope and nope. I was talking to a baddie years ago who was still friends with two of her exes. Had to drop her off. That is a red flag. Yeah, like you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just not it's not a healthy sign. It basically says she's keeping her options open even when she's in a relationship, and it's like that's not a good relationship to be in. It's toxic as shit. There's nothing good that can come of this stuff. So I recommend, brothers, set that boundary. Use that boundary as a shit test for her to see how she responds, because that'll tell you everything you need to know about whether she respects you in the relationship or not. Okay. So that's what I recommend. All right, guys, that's all I got for this stream. Tune into the podcast tomorrow. Brother Drake from Dar Fitness, he's usually in the chat, usually in the mornings. He gave me an idea for tomorrow's episode because on Monday, it was a pre-record because Nurse Chick and I were driving back from Vegas, and I said at the end of that, if any of you guys have an idea for Wednesday's episode, let me know in the chat or down below. And he's the only one that hit me up, so he actually dropped it in the Wolf Pack, and he said, I'd like you to do an episode that talks about this. And he talked about his personal experience with a breakup, and then not like at first this breakup wrecked him, and then he got to a place where he just didn't give a shit anymore, right? And he's like, I'd like you to sort of expand on that. And so what I did was I took his story and I expanded it into an hour-long story, like an hour-long parable. So it's going to be story time with Paul Bebe tomorrow, and it's going to be entertaining. I'm just going to read this to you. I don't think I'll have a whole lot of my interjections. We'll see. I do like to run my mouth, but the idea is to just tell you the story the whole time. So just tune in, grab some popcorn, and listen to the story. It should be a fun one. But that's all we got for today. If you guys haven't yet, I mentioned 2 of my books today, right? Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18 and Keep Your Bitch. Both of those are available on Amazon or Audible. I'll drop a link to where all my books are there in the chat. They're also in the description. And if you guys want to sponsor a video, you can sponsor one by going to video.comeonmanpod.com. Oh, hey, Dar Fitness. We were just talking about you. We were just talking a lot of shit about you, brother. No, I'm just kidding. It was good. I was talking about how tomorrow's podcast is going to be based on an idea that you gave me. So giving you a shout out there. And then Rockstar says, oh no, unless there's kids, that's it. Right. Like if there's kids and it's a co-parenting situation, it's totally different. Right. But if she's entertaining this guy in a social manner, like would they like to go hang out and have drinks? And bad news, man. It's bad news. It's not a good idea. Not a good idea. You can't change my mind about that. All right, guys, that's all we got. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time live because I'm back from Vegas, baby.